write about father. Because every word is a splinter I pull from a wound that refuses to close, and my hands are tired of bleeding just to speak. I was 13 when Kaka said to me, Aminata, come here, Adoni. She said it with the softness of hands that have seen too many winters. A sentence braided into my hair like a charm, as if beauty was armor, as if being adorned could keep a man's hand gentle, but father was not gentle. Father was a storm wearing a man's skin. His feet were weather patterns I learned to predict. His shadow of prophecy I feared. Every night the world shook with his thunder, and my mother's body became the map of his rage. You see, my family is a museum of locked rooms. We keep our secrets in jars, label them private, store them high on shelves too high for outsiders to reach. But I remember the night he pinned her to the floor. The chokehold like a python made of flesh. Her eyes fixed on the ceiling as if tracing constellations only she could see. Purple stars bloomed on her skin, a galaxy Father built with his fist, yet she stayed for us. And that is the cost I carry, knowing I was the gravity that kept her in orbit around his cruelty. The reason she called a burning house a home. The reason she learned to swallow smoke without coughing, because they told her a woman's worth was measured by how much she could endure. That even bruise could be bracelets, even pain could be a kind of adornment. Call me Adoni, but tell me, when the adornment is purple and blue, when the necklace is a chokehold, when the veil is to hide the swelling, Shima Adoni? When your father is a monster and your mother's silence is the only lullaby you never asked for, Shima Adoni? When the only inheritance passed down is how to die slowly without making a sound, Shima Adoni? Thank you.
Wow. Contestant number 2. Oh, our judges are going to give us our scores. Judges.
My town is the road to hell. I am not a prophetess, but a witness to an empire on the brink of breath. I am from a city whose name bears the scars of shattered dreams. To the whole world, only a galaxy of fireworks calls up memories of this place. They say poetry is luxury. Something you place in a glass frame, something you hang above the fireplace, something you recite when nature murmurs under her breath, something that wafts along by the stillness of Zephyr. But tell me, what happens when the world is never quiet, when a swarm of drones are the stars of our night sky, when lullabies echo with war cries? In times like this, poetry is not a chandelier. It is a touch. It is a talking drum, a whisper across oceans that says, I am still here and I have something to say. In Maiduguri, We do not write for applause. We write to breathe. We write because our stories have been buried under the rubble and someone has to dig them out. In a time of crisis, poetry becomes currency. You trade metaphors for courage, land breaks for breathing space, because some truths are too heavy to carry without rhythm. Some wounds need the soft hands of a stanza before they will even let you near them. I have seen words pull the dead back from the edge of memory. I have seen a verse become bread on an empty table. I have seen a single place line turn war into water and water into healing. Don't tell me poetry is powerless. I have watched it kneel beside broken men and whisper them back into standing. I have watched it wrap its arms around children whose lullabies were gunfire and teach them the melody of safety. So when the sky coughs smoke over Maiduguri, I will write. When the streets speak in sirens, I will answer them in sonnets. When the rivers whisper hunger, I will write. Because even in the rubble, language can build. And maybe the world will not change because of my poem. But maybe someone will hear it and decide not to give up. And maybe that is how revolutions begin, with a pen brave enough to bleed.
Thank you. And we have our scores. We have 9. We have 5. We have 8. Oh, 8.5? What's that? 8.5, 9. 8.5, 9.7. What? 8. All right, thank you. And contestant number 3.
Let's all begin with prayers. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and He said, "Let there be light," and there was. I promise you, your bones are not going to break at the end of this poem. We began like every other thing, like the ligament that connects our joints, our bodies are a temperament of lost hope even before we know death. At the playing ground, a boy described my mother's face to be a portrait of a wounded slave that was learned to straighten our tongue before it reached God's ears, by which I mean we must learn to teach our tongue how to hold words without stuttering even at the sight of death. Yesterday, I smuggled my thoughts into reality of our existence because everything that comes with us ends with us too. I guess that's why every line, every word I held in my mouth is a metaphor of grief. It's a portrait of a boy smuggling his body out of his home because of its impurity. You see, you do not call a blind man blind because he cannot see the fragility of this world, but try to take him to a cemetery and watch how he communicates with angry soul. I guess Isaac Newton lied to us because his law of gravity never told us how to carry corpses into their graves. Hausawa sukan ce, magana zuciya tambayi fuska. But right now, Fusco came out, long held so much tear that the sea can be drawn from our eyes. I swear, our chemistry teacher, when giving his analogy, said, "Everything made of water cannot be consumed by fire." Then why then did my brother's skin got torn because they become so kite on the rooftop of our house? But who hope your bones are not still broken? Because sooner, a boy must teach his body how to become a reservoir of bullets and of bombs, and a girl must teach her body how to hold silent crystal to use on our skin. But what more could you expect from a body that already knows death even before it was created? But please, do not judge me. I'm just a messenger, by the way. I swear initially I did not want to begin this poem with a memory of a bullet being implanted in the cheek of my brothers, but each one that leads to my home is a grave, and hands of boys dragging me into them to slice their tongue open to give them melody to sing to God. I swear to God again. This is why I began this poem with prayers. Even though I've asked God countless times to never allow me born, but I promise, this is not another tragic story anymore. Even though our bodies have long become fragments of things that dilute pieces, I promise, this is an anthem that brings solace. So when next that boy described my mother's face as a portrait of a wounded slave again, I'll tell him, didn't you ask that we straighten our tongue before it reached God's ears? bakin rijiya ba fa wasan wajen wasan yaro bane. So pray, you know fashi. Breathe, you know fashi. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and He said, "Let there be light," and there was. This boy is the light. Hope your bones are not still broken. Peace.
Thank you, everyone. Please, our judges, 9.8, 9.5. All right, guys, I know the excitement is getting very, very high. But remember our rule: no clapping, no shouting, just remember. All right. And then please, let's calm the noise down. We have lots more performances to come. So, contestant 3, are you ready? 4. There's no shouting, no.
Tonight, before this darkness swallowed us whole, permit me to catch my breath. I promise I won't breathe in reverse tonight. And until we get tired of falling for debates, I bet we will have rooms for many more debates tonight. Zan fara tun daga farkon fari farautar fari gudun faruwar fashewar faɗan faɗin fari ya koma fari. And so I've learned about the men who have gone beyond the walls of life, trying to find shelter for our unity before the diversity in us, summoned for the presence of their bodies to the deity, trying to uncover the true color of the spirit that uses the D in our differences to dig our graves and fuel the space with hate to make us feel the heat, the need to beat the beat of understanding that beats in our hearts. But I just wish that everyone could feel the weight of the graveyard on our shoulders. Why I choose to hold on to hope with my teeth, trying to master the art of balance, fear feasting from the fainting feet of my feet. But what good is that fear if tonight we will close our eyes in the presence of more lullabies than dirges of we, have hugged more checks than gauntlets in the name of hatred of we, have known the sound of happier gongs than bombs. Kalfa momenta. Shi fari ne kuma kowanne da kalarsa tunda ba a sake wa tuwo suna. Haka zalika ni baki kai baki ne kuma kowa da kabilarsa, to me yasa muke kyamar rungumar juna? Ita fa biyu ta fi ɗaya ko a rabon ɗauki. Me and you together cikon mafarki. Me and you walking into rooms and exchanging the vipers in our tongues with butterflies, tracing the scars in our hearts as marked building homes in this land that do not stand on white streams, that do not stand on the innocence of babies and do not stand on the remains of the prayers of the dead. So let the mountains in our hearts melt back into being the dune, and only then we will become the free men that we always dreamed. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, what is dead may never die. Repeat with me. What is dead may never die.
Oh God. All right, this is beautiful. Our judges, are we ready? I have an 8. I have 7.5, and I have 7.5. Thank you, judges. All right, guys, let's keep next is contestant 5. If you are ready, we are. Let's give him a round of applause. All the round of applause that you have, give it. I don't want you doing this performance.
Hello. Mama
na mama na mama na maisuna mama na. As if you knew the night bed songs would burst out onto your mother's breast. See, the first time a bullet featured your mother, it did not ask. It spilled the night open, on a racket lit soft with flame. The airship shifting with dread, body sizzling where skin used to be. Your mother poured her voice into the water, spit into your fingers. Watch how easily we are flailing in the sky with our forefather's name on our lips. A man kneeling on God's throat, asking him to lower the temperature of a burning city. Dear Lord, forgive me for beginning this poem with stars singing your names into ruined things. I wouldn't have loved to filibuster you with so much beauty, but I will tell you that the news headline in Benue State links born from its petals. Reality was an oil slave peeled from my jaw. I stood there and watched. About 500 bodies were walked back to them. And people who are running beside a fire. We do not have a place to call home. Home is a gap we stuck beneath the ribs of God. The metamorphosis in how God watches this body but never learn how to dig and listen. Some truth beats are harder than fire sucking a nipple. I swear, death has a kind of beauty in how it leaves the body mid-breath. How it teaches the rib to open like a gate welcome in silence. My mother told me when I was younger that what kills a woman is not always loud. Sometimes it's tender. Sometimes it holds her hand first. Men will come. Men will come. They will come with velvet in their mouth and violence in their hands. They will touch you like a secret that no one survives. They will dress their desire in pity and call it kindness as they press you back into dust when they come. Deborah, Amina, run, run, run. And when you run, press the one question behind their left chest. Ask them, what is rage if not love that lost its map and fell in love with fire? Chibudu, think.
Thank you, thank you. And then our judges. Our judges. Our judges. Our. We have a 9, we have a 10, and a 10. All right, let's keep it calm, let's keep it calm. Let's keep it calm. Let's keep it calm. Let's keep it calm. What? No. Guys, let's keep it calm. Let's keep it calm. All right, guys, keep it down, please. Please. The judge's decision is final. The judge's decision is final. Let's remind each other. Contestant number 6. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hello? 6 feet deep. Is there anyone, absolutely anyone, who still believes that family is the apple of the world's eye? You see, my best friend, he wanted a woman with hips like Heaven's Gate. He wanted a large family. Plenty of children screaming Baba, face lit up, hugging him, swarming him like he was a god, like sugar in the presence of smothered ants. He'd matter in their arms and the daily toil would be worth it. Lafire's gold trips mansion, my friend's family would have it all. And his mother will not die like her mother or her mother's mother or the women before them, for she would never use the firewood stove, he swore. Perhaps if the bandits loved a good story and my friend was gifted fear hearing, their guns would have remained mere metal stuck in the shop beneath the ocean, or better still, carved into toys made out of stone or trees or any and everything else, and my friend's stomach would not have had to house 7 bullets, his chest glued to 2. And I know if legs could speak, they would have testified to taking him from Ungwa Uku to BUK and back, the popping of the joint competing with the
whose heart was victorious. The success in it was greater than Mount Everest waiting for Israel's trumpet. Maybe if they knew this, they would have flung something else in the bushes and not my friend's body. I hope the vultures, hyenas, and worms had more mercy than their gun-carrying colleagues. And if the journalists cared more for stories than clicks, they would surely find my friend's mother, a woman out of plenty, dangling in the thin line that has become her life. Somebody tell me what tragedy is greater than an old woman whose only son didn't live long enough to feed her, to adorn her in dresses, to bury her. And now she too will die like her mother and her mother's mother and the women before them, from lungs filled with smoke, the smoke a 7 year from the several meetings with the firewood. My best friend just wanted a large family and he loved roses. And I did not want to stand in front of another grand crowd reciting a pathetic poem about how my best friend got his first flowers when he was already 6 feet deep.
All right, thank you very much. Our judges. 7.6, 5.6, and an 8. 6.5, 7.6, and 8. Let's give her a round of applause. Contestant number 7.
Abuja, but this is a story we all know too well. Eyes stabbed for closure in long field queues, skin melting with sweat because it is only midday, Friday. Ag bearers terrorize drivers on the expressway in slow traffic and blaring horns. The sun glares over Aso Rock where the eagle nests, watching over our suffering like a slow motion film. Holding a classic pen to sign what could be our future, hanging you and me in anticipation for change or loss of hope. At this juncture, I do not understand what we are still doing, chanting in solidarity to our own grievances stained with greed, eating oppa for breakfast, and that seems to be the only thing holding us, while we move like zombies to our work desks, smelling like petrol and body orders not ours. Struggling to keep it all together, but who are we kidding? We continue to lie to ourselves that we will surpass this. When will it end? I observed that our awareness had met with our prejudices, conforming with the evil in our mind while we remain selfish on sidewalks and at public toilets, looking for co-working spaces to feel like we belong to a more advanced world, buried in our screens, hiding away our insecurities. We'll get a reality check, because outside is where the truth is louder than our lies. Thank you.
Thank you. Judges, I see a 5, and a 5, and a 6. Contestant number 8.
The news anchor rolls out names of people that had crossed out from its list. In a 10 kilometers away from the studio, my grandfather held his radio to his ear. His wrinkled skin smeared with hope that threatens to spill back to his his liver and drown him from the inside. And my grandfather, like every old man with nothing else to give to war, put on his hearing aid and searched for his family in a pile of dead names. A stranger's name comes first. Another stranger's name runs to join him because loneliness itself is a sin of the soul. The names of my family members come as a tree. My cousin walks out as a leaf, another as a branch, then my mother's name as the root to anchor what has come to stay. My grandfather didn't call life a projector. Characters you watch come to life in your present lead out their entire existence at the flicker of light. War is a beautiful thing. It strips you of the right to dream, falls whatever remains of your smile and breaks it to smoke. Tomorrow either grows from a voice's gap teeth or from the void his soul lives in his name, and this name drags itself to the news. Thousands of strangers pray and moan over the life he has left behind because people only know you have lived when you're dead. War is a beautiful thing. It finds you in your house and gives your existence a name. It strips you bare and throws whatever remains of you out, as if to tell the world, look at what you once had, a name, a shoe, a family, an identity, a bloodline, and blood is only thicker than water when you can hold bodies together. But this war has turned my face to smoke and my family to dust. We surrender what remained of them to earth, set our voices in the only supplications our tongues could carry from home. My grandfather, we're cold at the sight of his mouth, searches saliva for fat, then spat them out like a branch his takes one. In every civilization, Gambela reignites itself. 2. A man's body becomes one with the earth at every dawn. His country shrouds him with her sand and lets him down gently. 3. A child trades alphabet for bread and begs death for his father's scent on his soul. 4. I have cried more for strangers on my phone screen than I have on my mother's burial. 5. بين الأحياء والأموات الباحث من كل شيء نطقى بالدموع. Between the living and the dead is a sea of everything covered in tears. So tell Anas, Muhammad, Hussein, Sarah, Shireen, Khalid, Fawaz, how every wingless angel we have led soar from this soil to keep the gates of heaven open. Tell them, pure souls still roam on earth, and this war, this beautiful thing, is yet to set them free.
All right, judges, the BAR is looking at you people. 7, 9, 10. 7, 9, 10. Thank you, judges. And the next contestant 9. Let's give her a round of applause. Ahmed.
Can I start?
Test the mic.
All day, every day, therapist, mother, maid, nymph, and a virgin, nurse, and a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7, baby machine, so he can live out his wicked friend's dreams. It's not an act of love if you make her, you make me do too much labor. These lyrics roll through my speakers. They triggered this uneasy feeling like I was being strangled with a tie. I could feel my eyes turning up in utter distress, and then I suddenly felt tense. Is it because I could see my mother suffering in those lyrics? Is it because it reminded me of how she was ripped, of her young years, abandoned at 6, a baby machine at 17, juggling between breastfeeding, mopping the floors, and dishwashing? The sole breadwinner who eats from the bread she wants, she would bake cakes, popcorns just for I and my siblings to acquire an education. Don't get mistaken when I say she has a husband. She has a husband whose only contributions were his spams and emotional gaslighter. How king towards your servants 24/7, you would watch her do all the chores, you wouldn't even bother to offer a helping hand. She was stuck to keep shut in face of her partner's oppression. For she is a woman, so she must worship even while she is being mistreated. She never bothered to become the resistance against the oppression she was subjected to. Once she tried to flee with her children, but then something stopped her. It replayed in her mind over and over again the way music replays in your memory while showering. Where would I go even if I should leave? Where would I go even if I should leave? I get saddened when I see the wrinkles on my mother's face. I get saddened when I see her servant girl's hand. I get saddened that my mother never actually encountered what true love was, what a lover's touch felt like, or what the true words "I love you" meant, or how a lover's striking eye contact could actually calm you down. My mother never knew the definition of these sentences. All she knew was labor, labor, labor. But I do not want to end up like my mother. I do not want to wake up every day of my life and juggle all she did. I want to go to school. I want to be the cat that chases his dreams the way it chases mice. I want to have a man who would be obsessed with me, a man who would blink if an axe touch my bare skin. I do not want to end up like my mother, for she has gone through too much labor. She has gone through too much labor.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Judges, your time to shine. 6. Zara. 6.2. 5.6. 6.5. All right. Contestant number 10. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hello. Soldier man, sure you know you be killer man. Every day, the world opens its bloodied mouth to tell stories of war and grief, so there may be no new story to tell. But a little boy rode on tomorrow's dreams, promising Mama a heaven of the heavens she had always dreamed. You see, tomorrow was the conveyor belt that held up the hopes of the boy. So when tomorrow failed to return with Mama for the morning census, the boy thought of prayers and discarded them. Instead, he walks into a dream where cruelty is a familiar place and hope can no longer exert itself. I look the boy in the eye. I know the life of this soldier is hard, but it's harder to tell a boy there is nothing special about his grief. Instead, I want to tell him about the times when I've had to hold grief onto my body like a blanket on a cold night. I will the words to come, but they do not. But poetry is only poetry when there's someone there to catch your words before they fall. So this is not poetry, this is target practice. And here, like the boy's mother, they only catch bullets. So I look the boy in the eye, and I do not tell him how his mother died. But I'll tell you, they say everything is fair in love and in war, but I did not like how the boy's mother looked at me. With my gun to her head, I did not like the stories that her eyes shared with me. I did not like it how her humanity rioted with the rules of engagement hanging in my head. The commander had told me to shoot to kill, to spare no one but the boys. Let the boys live long enough to become our soldiers on the burial ruins of their people. So the boy's mother was an enemy. But in that moment, I see her eyes, and the echoes of war are distant and lame. But somehow, I close my eyes, I draw my gun, and I fire. And then I remember the time when death was only a visitor until we became too friendly. So when death offered us shining tools, we smiled and said thank you. And now the world has become a big ball of fire and smoke, of nagging crows hanging on a dead man's meat. And tomorrow, we step out with the leftovers of the world we left behind. And we will bear with us the bodies of our men who did not live to see the morning sun, trying to convince ourselves and their families that they died for a good cause. But one day, we may have to look in the mirror to distinguish the hero from the villain, because we have all got blood on our hands, just not ours.
Thank you. Judges, 9, 7.5, 8. Thank you. Contestant number 11. Salman.
The day they carried my dad, I thought it was the last time life would ever exist in my veins. I saw my mother's love held captive like memories. My siblings and I were singing supplications to serenade the chaos breaking into our house. But hope only lingered, dangling in the wind, resembling a confused soul. Sun dauke babanmu, sai saka shi cikin motarsu, sun ki mai da halinsu, sun ki jin kukanmu, balle su ji tausayinmu. My mother's voice is a venom that kills every part of the soul. She spat in lines. Every sentence is a storyline that died in a long line to pain that lasted a lifeline. This is how a crisis enters home. Without knocking, without mercy. It kidnaps fathers. It buries mothers alive and in silence. It casts children's prayers into broken echo. Hausawa suka ce, komin nisan dare gari zai waye, yet our dawn never came. There's blight into night, but no words of Baba, not of his presence nor his absence. Babu masaniya a kansa, we fed on bullets and his thought, on memories and hope. Rijiya Patas and Misego and Desha Wanta, and we had tested the bitterness of its water. Magana Jari changed the elder, so I turned my pain into poetry. For poetry is my only weapon that cannot be disarmed. This was how I survived while they caged my father. I fed myself in lines while they fed us fear. I fed my soul with words, and the crisis came without knocking. Poetry answered the call, not with surrender, but with salvation. Thank you.
Thank you. Judges. Hello. 6.7. I can't see that. 6.1. 7. Contestant 12.
Hello. 1, 2, 3. Put the gun to his head. 1, 2, 3. Put the trigger and he's dead. Where I'm from is a bloodbath. A symptoms of cloudiness trying to lick your body. Where I'm from is a deadness freezing to your skin. You seek for its redemption, but it longs for your life. 8 October 2020, the revolution was to devise angels wandering the world with mortal bodies. Boys carrying up pronounced grace on their backs. They said the revolution will make us a new heaven, but we have angels that are stuck down here. Angels that can't go home. Tell them that the first ever made with wooden trees, breaking our bodies into bullets of plastic things. Tell them that they were first killed in Lagos before genocide in America. Maybe God gave us this black body so bullets could easily penetrate our bones, breaking into epistles of song, into epistles of war. We are bodiless of things, living, dead, unseen. Tell them that we're just boys struggling to live, boys struggling to survive, boys struggling to be been. I want boys to live freely without targets on their head. I want boys to go home to their mothers want, but they feel like everywhere. They look everywhere. They look everywhere.
Thank you. Thank you. Judges? 6. 6.5. 8. Next contestant.
For how long we would dream of better land, yet still they toast them like agege bread, where soft sweet but always out of reach? For how long we would hail Toy Shinkapa, me and Toshe, call them our cultural dish, yet still they crave shawarma and snap spaghetti for Instagram like take culture no find rich. Aladun Sunko Matari, not pride but past. For how long we would clap for Igbo craftsmanship, call their plastic chairs important, while Malang out west and they crave with the crab go home empty. For how long we would wear the mindset where them so for us like Togomo clothes, believe say black skin about me, say our tongue na error, say our king na joke, our self-worth is measured by our accent. Come up on Gaja Sheba. For how long we will stop to the kill ourselves, Muslim, Christian, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, and still one blood. We dey cry sentence, but our tribal mark we don't use to judge sorrow. We don't despise ourselves enough. We don't depend on their verdict. Passport to money, we still they wait for their approval like visa. Wait, make I ask you, is their account really finer than our gelling? Is their tongue sweeter than our Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba melody? Is their soup richer than our Egusi or Kuka? For how long we will know say the real heroes will try bring change? Multara Ramat, Fumilayo, Kensaro, Wiwa, Amadu Bello, them silence them with bullets and blackmail. Heroes bury the rumors while villains they collect chieftaincy title. We dey mourn on Independence Day, but still wear the chain of silence and fear. Now we build their nation, but break our own with vote for rice and spaghetti. We don't sign away our future for campaign rights. Nigeria, where patriotism will land you for sale, but if you thief when your excellency they will call you. And that's certain corruption they use convoy, but truth they trade understand in this my country. Could you marry or go but not be direction again? Our division, brotherhood, they faith, unity, they start ventilation, to rise, to reclaim, and to rebuild. Because my name no be maybe, and my country no be what if. You hear me? My country no be what if. I no go watch my tomorrow they boil in silence while I still hold the matches of change. I no go let fear stitch my lips while the truth they boil inside my chest. Because na Nigeria I dey hail, not the one where they break, but the one where we go build with ink, sweat, sacrifice, and our loud voices. And if them ask you talk and tell them say na one pikin from Nigeria, where they move into poetry and not chopping it to people because from today to the end.
Thank you, judges. I see a 10. I see a 10 and a 10. Wow, okay. Alright guys, keep it down. We still have more to go. Next contestant. Guys. The judge's decision. Alright, now let's give him a round of applause.
Somewhere in my hometown, a boy presents 3 cases to determine the identity of his motherland. Coincidence 1. This is how we learn to forget ourselves before the breach of death. To believe that for war is to eat what it feels can be forcefully owned. My body here is a refugee camp. We grow boys to become men not with swords, but words of swords enough to prove to the world anything that fire has touched can also be kissed by the skin of water. I am teaching myself to be unlike memories of war. Kunya Adoche, but only when home isn't burning right on the tip of our tongues. Do you not see the red sparkles of fire lighting from my eyes to my veins? Ayanka Tatashi, matasan yanzu ba su tsayawa kan sani yanci sai da kwayoyi da makamai wanda bai kai ga azzalimai sai dai kai ya ku bayi kasar mu yau a takaice uwa ke sa wa ɗanta iPhone a fakaice domin ya koyi sata a faifai don cimma rayuwa gurbatacce saboda schoolers ka mai san sace-sace da rashin dogaro da kai ya yawaita a arewacin mu. Isn't this how bad boys learn to survive instead of live? Two is a clue. This country has failed its people twice more than the size of hope. Because sometimes you watch your next identify the forest pathways as home. Because sometimes the only home you have left is the godly built flesh inside your ribcage. And sometimes men will like to take affair with what God times and place, but don't say no. That men can only fight other men. Men can only fight other men because no hands has ever touched the sky. But sometimes to be ungrateful is to provoke war. The body knows it cannot win. Sometimes the presence of blood means we are not too far from heaven, far from the freedom of living. But who gets to turn blood into wine except for kun fayakun? Be and it is. 3 is a proof. Maybe the beginning of bad omen is the end of the good ones. Maybe you are obsessed with over expectations of things we knew could only exist if only we exist to exit the violence in our heads. Maybe the bad guys not think that their blood belongs to the X2 and Sarah suka a karkata da ba ta saba karewa ko kun sa almara na tabbatuwa Allah karfe ta zana sunan malam kuwa. Maybe to be the son of the soil is to be soiled until you are the survivor of the several bullets and the distance your feet once swallowed. Maybe being quiet is the most dangerous thing that rides upon. Maybe the gates of prayers have been long closed. Our voices will only drop back as rain, as solitude for farmers before they realize that this country too now exists in the season of blood. Or maybe we are wrong too. Maybe the beginning of grief is the closest thing a man could get himself to God. Maybe the beginning of grief is the closest thing a man could get himself to God. For 1 is just a coincidence, 2 is a clue, but 3 is a proof. What else should a poet write on that has no images of blood? What else should a poet write on that has no images of blood? What else should a poet write on that has no images of blood?
Thank you. Thank judges. I see an 8. I see an 8.2 and 8.5. Next contestant. Contestant number 15. We are almost out of the first round. Let's give him a round of applause.
There is a moment in our lives where stability stands at a crossroad between purpose and vanity, where hopes are dead stars. There are times in our places, in our cases, where the traces on human faces do not take chances to come into crisis. But crisis does not only erode our peace, it turns us to pieces. There is a boy called Musa, who developed ulcer because he didn't get the answer at Zuchia's area and Chusa. So he keeps fighting the innocents like a boxer. Yet he can't even afford the cure to his cancer. And his sister Sadia, whose brilliance danced from mane to tail but was given so much barrier. Her Islamia was raided by unknown Quingia, her pride shattered by those meant to be her carrier. So she was saying the Lord's Prayer in Arabia. She wished to live in the boardroom but was forced into the bedroom because crisis has taken over classrooms. When the words of a thousand life is a 2-minute apology on the media. Xenophobia knows no area, as if we were not people of euphoria. Kind. People carrying bandages saying that is what resilience encourages, with their luggages seeking for greener pastures even in the garbages. Bullets burrowing holes, busting brains, then rain like rain. Children cannot chill at ease, we lost the keys to our peace. The hunger is getting stronger, it stays for longer. See, poetry in time of crisis is what poets perceive with similar choices. We speak our hearts with unique voices, no one disguises. Even Moody speaking endorsed peace he was seeking. It's symphonies he gave us by means of singing. When crisis makes one a culprit of overspeeding and knocks down a victim, yet in the hospital there are no doctors to treat him. It proves that the hospital walls have had more sincere devotions than churches and mosques. Worshippers before their Lord are short, giving his shortcuts to meet their Lord. And then comes a woman who ran from a war bettered by crisis to the walls of the world, trapped in the canvas of nowhere, hoping to get to somewhere, carrying an invisible war whispering in her blood. But now I see, resilience isn't enough to combat crisis. Our hands positioned in the sky, a plea to the Most High. Because Finder Adua is powerful and brotherhood says, what binds us supersedes what divide us to meet our Goliath. Our grandparents embrace molds the future with boundless love, and every heartbeat is a promise, every trust a masterpiece, to show us the path that we have buried in the dust. I hear that freedom of speech is a right that is so seldom, and only those with wisdom will understand it at random. But no, we are not after stardom. All we want is a peaceful kingdom, and no one delivers salvation to a nation that cries in silence. So speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then our judges. What is that? 6, 6, 7. Next contestant